Alright guys, this is Zach Horn with Clean Code Studio. Clean Code, Clean Life. And today we're going to start a new series. I'm going to call this series, to be honest, I haven't given it a name yet. But we'll call it something like Hard Talks. And so right now I'm just driving home from work, and I'm just thinking about the work day, and thinking about what we talked about, and things we've talked about over the last few weeks. And I've got this thought on my mind. And it's a very unpopular opinion, and one that I shared with two of my coworkers the other day with the pretense that, hey, this is not my professional opinion. This is a purely personal opinion. Okay. And here it is. My personal opinion was that TDD tests constrain you so much that it actually ends up hurting you and your ability as a developer and engineer to learn design principles. Now, that's a big one. Now, do I believe that we shouldn't be doing TDD tests? I absolutely believe we should be doing TDD tests. I believe we should be doing TDD tests, integration tests, feature tests, etc., in a business environment. And if you're trying to learn TDD testing, then hell yeah, do TDD tests outside of your business environment. But if you're trying to learn about solid or grasp or GAF principles, I don't like how much that TDD constrains you, because it brings you to the exact line of code where you failed, correct? Which is good. That's helpful in a business goal-oriented environment. But it makes it so much easier just to say your if statement fails. And you're saying if user shirt is red or user shirt is green, then do this. Else if user shirt is blue or user shirt is yellow, then do that. Well, in a TDD test, if that condition fails for whatever reason, then it will bring you to the specific line of code where you did that if statement or that if-else statement. If shirt is this color or that color, do this. Otherwise, if it's that color or that color, do that. Your TDD test will bring you to the if-else. Will bring you to the exact problem, and it is so dang easy to just fix the problem right there by adding the extra if conditional or doing whatever the problem is. You just fix it within the if-else. TDD tests make it very easy to do that. The exact line number, change it. Which is why they're good for business. But from an architectural dependency management, complexity management perspective, I think the same reason that it's so useful is why it can be so hurtful to developers in the longer run who haven't learned about good architecture and good design principles. So instead of using something like, dependency inversion, and depending on the interface of shirts that have a functionality where they do something, or they know their own color, you're doing if-elses, and you shouldn't have an if-else. If this thing or this thing and that thing, do this. Otherwise, if this, that, and this, do what? That's each of those if, ands, ors, that's a dependency. And if you have those ifs and elses, that is a dead giveaway. You do not have good architecture. It's a dead giveaway. Guys, I know this is not a popular opinion, but I truly believe TDD tests, specifically first, writing it to fail, failing it, so triggering the test and failing it, and then writing the code to make the test pass is great. It is great for business. But for learning, do you really want the training wheels on? Do you really want the training wheels on? That's all it is. Just training wheels. And it's, test coverage is good. And another argument I have towards TDD testing is, so check this. This is about functional programming versus object-oriented programming. So this is about paradigms. Paradigms being defined as habitual patterns we implement over and over. In my opinion, In my technical opinion, the functional paradigm is the best paradigm, hands down. In my professional opinion, usability opinion, object-oriented is far and away better, just because there are not enough people or developers that understand functional programming. Now, one of the biggest benefits of functional programming over object-oriented programming is the fact that functional programming, when implemented to its truest form, uses pure functions. What's a pure function? Well, a pure function is saying we will get the same output per input every single time. A pure function never depends on extraneous state or on state outside the scope of that given function. This is very, very, very good, extraordinarily good, because bringing it back to the TDD test, if we TDD functional programming, functional code, and it is actually functional programming only using pure functions, then our TDD test will actually prove that everything works properly. It will actually prove that our tests are passing. Whereas in an object-oriented paradigm, objects have internal state. Oftentimes, objects are not defined perfectly. They depend on extraneous state. And our TDD test only tests the application at the current state in which it is in. And in larger scale applications, we very rarely are able to test every single state of our project. Extraordinarily rarely. So another problem I have with TDD tests is they are not always dependable. Just because the test pass doesn't mean we've tested every single state of that application. Doesn't mean we can't have a weird edge case we're not seeing. And the fact of the matter is TDD tests, they're very useful. They're another tool. They kind of, keep you constrained to the problem. They keep you constrained to the issue, to coding, to solve the problem, which is good. It helps for business. But as far as learning architecture, learning to manage dependencies, learning what complexity is, how to reuse and extend and contractually bind extensible behavior, for learning that stuff, I'm not a fan of TDD. So, I don't know, guys. My unpopular opinion. Let me know what you guys think below. Do you think TDD is a little bit of an inhibitor to learning good architectural principles, or am I just making all this up and kind of spewing on and just dead wrong? All right, guys. I appreciate it. Like and subscribe if this was enjoyable or useful or insightful or you learned something new, and I will keep coming out with videos.